I chose to come to Kent State out of Minter High School because at the time the broadcasting program was real good here at Kent, and I'd always had a desire to be a sportscaster, so I thought this is where I'm going to go to school. I signed on with WKSU AM at the time, and I had an 8 o'clock radio broadcast every night. And living in Clark Hall, when I would go on at night, my buddies in the rooms would always say, "Find a story from our hometown," and so I'd always look for a byline with somebody's hometown. Canton, Ohio, there was a Mrs. Jones's bread rose better than somebody else's, or just finding these stories that weren't interesting. But the one thing that they taught us is that you always had to keep it right at 5 minutes. And so I practiced and practiced, and I'd go in, a couple hours before and pull the things off the teletape. We have the tape that we take the stories off of, and so I'd sit and I'd practice my 5 minutes. And I'll never forget it. In fact, it was probably my last day in broadcasting. It was the night of the Martin Luther King assassination. And I had my 5 minutes down, and I can remember the filler coming up on the 8 o'clock hour and watching the minute hand when the producer came in quick and said, "You've got to read this. Martin Luther King has been assassinated." And I said, "I can't. I've got my 5 minutes already. I can't change my story." And they said, "Well, you have to." And so so I could get my 5 minutes in, I just blurted out that Martin Luther King had been killed in downtown, and then I went right into my text. I didn't finish where he had been assassinated. Well, the board lit up, and they said, "Who was that was on the air?" And I lost my 8 o'clock radio show. So fortunately, I guess for me, I had a great professor at that time, and I was taking one of the core classes was a geology class, and his name was Glenn Frank. And because of his influence, I ended up going into geography. So I think that was probably one of my defining moments at Kent State University when I changed my major to go into geography.